anomalous properties of boron. Anomalous properties of boron. Now, what is the meaning of these anomalous properties? Okay, 13th group elements you know, boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and the thallium. Boron being the small element, and the absence of d orbital. It is small in size. The size of the boron is very, very small, and there is an absence of d orbital, and its ionization enthalpy it is also very high. That is why it shows anomalous properties. Anomalous properties andre ಆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಉಳಿದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟಿನ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಗಿಂತಲೂ ಅದು ಭಿನ್ನವಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸಿಗೆ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅನಾಮಲಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಅನಾಮಲಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್? Because of small size and high ionization enthalpy, boron forms only covalent compounds. Boron, it forms only covalent compounds. Only covalent compounds. But the rest of the element, even it forms the ionic compound. Boron forms only covalent compounds. The other elements of the 13th group along with the covalent compound, it involved in the formation of the ionic compound. Now, the second important anomalous properties of boron is the trihalides of the 13th group elements. Trihalides of the 13th group elements being covalent in nature. ಅಂದರೆ 13th group element trihalides, 13th ಗ್ರೂಪಿನ trihalides ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಕೋವಲೆಂಟ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದುಕೊಂಡು ಅದು when it undergo hydrolysis, boron it forms the tetrahedral species. That is, boron when it is hydrolyzed by water, it gives the tetrahedral species. The same way, aluminium when it is hydrolyzed by water, it gives the octahedral species. Why? What is the reason? The reason is boron, there is no d orbital. Hence, the maximum covalency of boron is 4. ಏನು no d orbital andre? Okay. Boron, you know the electronic configuration, that is 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. So, the number of valence orbitals in boron is 4. Hence, 4 orbitals are available for bonding, covalent bonding. So, that is why the maximum covalency of boron is 4. Hence, boron when it is hydrolyzed by water, it gives the tetrahedral species. But aluminium, it gives octahedral species. Why? Because of the presence of the d orbital. And if you observe the p block elements, the first element of the p block, you know boron, it is the first element of the 13th group element. Carbon is the first element of the 14th group element. Nitrogen is the first element of the 15th group element, so on. So, the properties of the first element is entirely different because of the absence of d orbital, but the rest of the element there is the presence of d orbital. So, because of the presence of the d orbital, the covalency, it expands 4. ಅಂದರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಉಳಿದ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿ ಆರ್ಬಿಟಲ್ಸ್ ಇರುವುದರಿಂದ ಅದರ ಕೋವ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು 4ಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಯೂಮಿನಿಯಂ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಅಲ್ಯೂಮಿನಿಯಂ ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಗರೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p1. There is a d orbital, but while writing we have not mentioned the d orbital. Now ಇಲ್ಲಿ d orbital ಅನ್ನು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೆ? There is no electron here, but actually there is a d orbital. This d orbital is the vacant d orbital. So because of this, because of the presence of vacant d orbital, covalency, it expands 4. So hence it gives the octahedral species. Now, if you observe the trihalides, the trihalides of boron BCl3 and the trihalide of aluminium, we can take it as AlCl3. The trihalide of boron, it is monomeric in nature. But the trihalides of aluminium, it is dimeric in nature. So if we write boron trichloride, we can write the boron trichloride BCl3. In BCl3 there is a vacant orbital. Hence this BCl3, it accepts a pair of electron. From the Lewis base, and thereby it can complete its octet. Okay, so you have studied the structure of boron trichloride under the P block under the chemical bonding lesson. So we can write the boron trichloride. In boron trichloride, boron, it is in sp2 hybridized state. You have studied, right? Boron electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. So you have written like this, 2s2, 2p1. But during hybridization, these electron, here it is promoted to p orbital, one electron, and one electron. So now this is a sp2 hybrid orbital. It is a sp2 hybrid orbital of the boron. So this sp2 hybrid orbital of boron, if you write the boron atom here, boron, sp2 hybrid orbital. So one orbital is the vacant orbital. So BCl3, one orbital is the vacant orbital. Okay, same way you have studied about the structure of ammonia under the chemical bonding. So you have studied that in ammonia, NH3 nitrogen atom is in sp3 hybridized state, and there is a lone pair of electron in ammonia, you have studied, right? So this ammonia, if you write ammonia, there is a lone pair of electron on the nitrogen atom. Hence this electron, it forms the bond with these orbitals which contains the lone pair of electron in the lone pair of electron in this hybridized orbital. It gets overlaps with the empty orbital of boron. And thereby it forms the bond. This bond is called as the coordinate bond. The coordinate bond, it is also called as the dative bond. That is BCl3, thereby it can complete its octet. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋರಾನ್ octet configuration ಅನ್ನು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಬೋರಾನ್ ಟ್ರೈಕ್ಲೋರೈಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಲೂಯಿಸ್ ಆಸಿಡ್. ಆದರೆ ಅಲ್ಯೂಮಿನಿಯಂ ಕ್ಲೋರೈಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ dimeric in nature. So in aluminium chloride, it can attain its octet configuration. By forming a bridge between the other aluminium chloride molecule. How? So if you write aluminium chloride, one more aluminium chloride. Okay, aluminium chloride. But here there is a vacant orbital in aluminium also, like boron, there is a vacant orbital in aluminium. So what happens? The lone pair of electron, you know that in chlorine there are 7 electrons in chlorine atom, 1, 2, 4, 6 and 7. So, okay, it forms a bridge. So this orbital, it gets overlapped with the vacant orbital of the aluminium and it forms the bond like this, This bond is called as the dative bond or otherwise the coordinate bond. Same way, aluminium, there is a vacant orbital. Chlorine atom, there is a lone pair of electron. So these electron, it is shared with the aluminum atom by the formation of the coordinate bond. So this bond is called as an coordinate bond. So this arrow mark, arrow mark, it shows that this one is the coordinate bond. So aluminum chloride, it exists in the form of dimer, and boron trichloride, it exists in the form of monomer. But boron trichloride, it can attain its octet configuration by sharing the electron from the Lewis base. So now this is about the, okay, and again, once again, why this boron trichloride is not forming the dimer? Boron trichloride is not forming the dimer because of the very small size of boron atom. If we take boron, very small size of boron atom, large size fluorochlorine atom is not possible to, not possible to fix these boron atom, 4-chlorine atom. So here in boron trichloride, because of very small size of boron atom, large sized chlorine atom is not accommodating, not around this aluminum boron atom. So this is about the structure of boron trichloride and aluminum trichloride. If you observe the boron trichloride and aluminum trichloride, you know that the aluminum trichloride, it forms the dimer, but boron trichloride, it is monomeric in nature. Why the boron trichloride is monomeric in nature? Because of small size of the boron atom and the large size of chlorine atom, the 4-chlorine atom is not possible to accommodate around the small size of boron atom. But aluminum, it is not like that. Aluminum, it is a larger in size compared to boron. So we can write the dimer structure of aluminum chloride like this. So, but here boron, it is not possible to write boron here because large size chlorine atom is not possible to accommodate around the boron atom. Hence, boron trichloride, it is monomeric in nature. Some important compounds of boron. So the important compounds of boron are borax, boric acid, that is orthoboric acid, orthoboric acid and diborane. Okay, now the first one, borax. Its formula is Na2B4O7 10H2O. But this borax, it exists in the form of tetranuclear units, that is B4O minus OH4 2 minus. Hence, the correct formula of borax, it is written as Na2 B4 O5 OH4 8 H2O. Next, this borax Na2 B4O7, it is hydrolyzed by water and it gives an alkaline solution NaOH plus boric acid H3BO3. Now this equation, it is not balanced. Okay, how we can balance Na2B4O7? So 2 NaOH, B4O7, 4 H3BO3. Now balancing this oxygen 7 here, oxygen 4 3s are 12 plus 2 14. So here we have to make this oxygen atom as 7 14. So write it 7. So now borax, when it dissolves in water, it gives alkaline solution. Same way, borax, Na2B4O7 10H2. On heating, it swells and loses water of crystallization. Borax, on heating, it swells up because of loss of water of crystallization, and it gives sodium tetraborate. Again, on further heating, it gives sodium metaborate and boric oxide. Sodium metaborate and boric oxide. So, this mixture of sodium metaborate and boric oxide is called as borax bead. Borax bead. That is, borax, on heating, it swells because of loss of water of crystallization, and it changes to a transparent liquid. This transparent liquid, it gets solidifies to a transparent solid glass-like material. This is called as the borax bead. Now this is about the action of heat on borax. This is the action of heat on borax. The metaborates of transition metals, it gives characteristics color. It gives the characteristics color. That is why this is the borax bead. It is used in the laboratory to identify. So how? That is, borax, it is heated. Borax, it is heated on a Bunsen flame on cobalt oxide with the help of the platinum lube. It gives a bluish color because of the formation of cobalt metaborate. So, the borax bead, it gives a characteristic color. That is why this is used to test the metals in the laboratory. Orthoboric acid, H3BO3, or we can write it as BOH twice. So this orthoboric acid, it is a crystalline solid and it is soapy to touch. It is insoluble in water, but it is soluble in hot water. How this orthoboric acid is prepared? Preparation of orthoboric acid. That is, borax, Na2B4O7. When it is dissolved in a solution of HCl, borax, when it is dissolved in a solution of HCl, it gives the orthoboric acid H3BO3 and it gives NaCl. Orthoboric acid and NaCl. Okay, Na2B4, so 4H3BO3. Now balancing the equation here, 7 here and here it is 4 3s are 12. So we have to make this oxygen 12. So 5H2. 4 3s are 12. Now, okay, Na2. So we can write as 2 NaCl. So sodium atom, it is balanced. Now the remaining is hydrogen. 2 hydrogen atom, 5 2s are 10 hydrogen atom, total 12 hydrogen atom. This equation here it is balanced. Same way, when the borax, when it is dissolved in water, borax, when it is dissolved in water, it gives the orthoboric acid H3BO3. H3BO3 and NaOH. So once again balancing the equation, 4H3BO3, Na2, hence 2NaOH. So oxygen atom here 7, here 4 3s are 12, plus 2, 14. So we have to make this oxygen atom 14. So write it 7. So now this equation is balanced. Now this is about the preparation of orthoboric acid. So orthoboric acid, it is prepared by dissolving borax in the solution of HCl. Same way borax, when it is hydrolyzed, it gives the orthoboric acid. See this orthoboric acid H3BO3, it has a layered structure where BO3 units are joined by the hydrogen bond. BO3 units are joined by this hydrogen bond. It is a layered structure. Hydrogen bond. Okay. Yes. Hydrogen. So now here H3BO3, it is joined by the hydrogen bond. In H3BO3, BO3 units here H3BO3, H3BO3. Now this is about the structure of orthoboric acid. Now this orthoboric acid H3BO3, the name itself says this is an acid, but this acid is not a protonic acid. Generally, acid means, you say the acid is the substance, it gives a H plus ion. No, but this is not a protonic acid. This is not a protonic acid. Protonic acid. This acid is a Lewis acid. This is a monobasic Lewis acid. Monobasic Lewis acid. That is, when this orthoboric acid H3BO3, or we can write it as BOH thrice, when it reacts with water H2O, when it reacts with water, this BOH thrice, it accepts a pair of electron. It accepts a pair of electron from oxygen and it gives BOH4 minus and it gives H3O plus ion. That is why this H3BO3, this is called as an monobasic acid. H3BO3 is monobasic acid. This is not a protonic acid. This is not give the, this, it accepts a pair of electron from the hydroxide ion from this water, which in turns give H plus. This H plus, it reacts with the water and it gives H3O plus ion. Now this is about the acidic nature of orthoboric acid. Now the orthoboric acid H3BO3, orthoboric acid, on heating, it loses its water molecule and it becomes metaborate. HBO2, it loses its water molecule, H2, remaining one H. One O is removed, so remaining 2O. Again, on further heating, it loses its water molecule and it forms B2O3. So this is about the action of heat on orthoboric acid. Diborane B2H6, diborane. Diborane, it is the simplest boron hydride. In the laboratory, it is conveniently prepared by the reactions between sodium borohydride with the iodine. Sodium borohydride, it is oxidized by iodine and it gives diborane B2H6 plus sodium iodide and it gives the hydrogen gas. Sodium borohydride. Now balancing the equation. So here it is B2H6, 2Na, 2NaI, hydrogen 8 and here it is 8. So in the laboratory, it is conveniently prepared by the reactions between sodium borohydride with the iodine. And also this diborane, it is prepared by the reactions between boron trifluoride with the lithium aluminium hydride. In the presence of diethyl ether, it gives the diborane, that is B2H6. And one more product is lithium fluoride and aluminium fluoride. Lithium fluoride and aluminium fluoride. Balancing the equation, 4BF3, 2B2H6, then ALF3. So here it is 3ALI, 3LIF, 3ALF3, 9 fluorine atom and 3, it is 12, okay. So here it is 4 3s are 12. So the equation is balanced. Hydrogen, 4 3s are 12, here the 6 2s are 12. And on the industrial scale, the diborane, it is prepared by the reactions between boron trifluoride with the sodium hydride at a temperature of, heating at a temperature of 450 Kelvin. It gives the diborane B2H6 plus sodium fluoride. B2, 6F, 6NaF, 6 sodium hydride, not sodium iodide, it is sodium hydride. So in the industrial scale, it is prepared by the reactions between boron trifluoride and sodium hydride. It gives the diborane. Now this is about the preparation of diborane. Diborane, it is a colorless and highly toxic gas. It catches fire easily. When it is exposed to air, it catches fire easily, diborane. That is, diborane B2H6, when it burns with oxygen, it gives enormous amount of heat and it gives the B2O3 plus H2O. It gives a large amount of heat, a large amount of energy is liberated, that is 1976 kilojoule per mole of energy is released. Now the balancing the equation here, B2H6 when it reacts with oxygen it gives B2O3. So 3O2 and here it is 3H2O. So okay, it is balanced. The same way diborane B2H6, when it undergo hydrolysis, When it undergo hydrolysis, it gives boric acid. Boric acid, and it liberates the hydrogen gas. Boric acid and liberates the hydrogen gas. 2 BH tries, and here it is 6H2. 6H2. So the equation here it is balanced, 6H2, and here it is 12, 6, 18 hydrogen atom, 6, 12, 18 hydrogen atom. Now this is about the reactions of diborane when it burns with oxygen when it is hydrolyzed by water. Diborane B2H6, diborane B2H6, when it reacts with the Lewis base, it gives a borane adduct. That is, when it reacts with the Lewis base, it undergoes cleavage reaction and it gives the borane adduct. That is diborane B2H6, when it reacts with a Lewis base such as trimethylamine, this undergo cleavage reaction and it becomes BH2. It reacts with the Lewis base. Now this is a Lewis base, you know that. Nitrogen, there is a lone pair of electron. Boron, there is a vacant orbital. Hence it undergoes cleavage reaction and it gives a borane adduct, that is BH3 NMe3. 2BH3 NMe3, 2NMe3. Same way, when diborane, when it reacts with the carbon monoxide, so there is a lone pair of electron here. Here this acts as a Lewis base. Here also it undergoes cleavage reaction and it gives the borane adduct. Now this is a cleavage reaction of diborane when it reacts with the Lewis base. Now the reactions of diborane with the ammonia, that is diborane when it reacts with ammonia, basically diborane B2H6, it gives to B2H6 NH3. B2H6 NH3. So this B2H6 NH3, it is initially in the form of BH2 NH3 twice plus BH4 minus. So that is why the reactions of diborane with ammonia, it is represented as like this. Diborane B2H6, when it reacts with ammonia, it gives 6NH3, it gives BH2 NH3 twice plus BH4 minus. Equation here it is not balanced, so 3 BH2 NH3 twice BH4 minus. Again on further heating, this gives B3N3H6. This B3N3H6 is called as borazine. This is called as borazine, and one more product is hydrogen gas. Okay. Now balancing the equation here, 3, 6, 2. Nitrogen, here it is balanced. Now the balancing hydrogen atom 12H2. Okay, now this is about the reactions of diborane with the ammonia. That is, diborane when it reacts with ammonia, it gives an additional product. This additional product on heating, it gives the borazine. Okay, now this borazine, borazine, it is called as inorganic benzene. B3N3H6 is called as inorganic benzene. Why this is called as an inorganic benzene? Because the structure of B3N3H6, it looks like the benzene structure with the alternate BH bond and the NH bond. So this is B3N3H6. So here actually there is a lone pair of electron and here it is a vacant orbital. Lone pair of electron and the vacant orbital. Lone pair of electron and the vacant orbital. So this bond is a coordinate bond, but it looks like the benzene. That is why this borazine is called as inorganic benzene. Okay. Now the next one is the structure of diborane. Structure of diborane, that is B2S6. In B2S6, boron atom is in sp3 hybridized state. Yes, boron, you know the electronic configuration, 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. Okay. So in the excited state, the electron which is present in the 2s orbital, it gets promoted to the 2p orbital. It gets promoted to the 2p orbital. So but this boron atom, it undergo sp3 hybridization. sp3 hybridization means it is a tetrahedral structure. So sp3 hybridized orbital of one boron atom. Diborane, there are two boron atom, one boron atom, 4 sp3 hybrid orbital. So 4 sp3 hybrid orbital, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. So but here the fourth sp3 hybrid orbital of boron, it is represented by the broken line, that is the dotted line. Why? Because this is the empty orbital. As you know that it is tetrahedral structure. It is a sp3 hybridized state, tetrahedral. Two orbital there is an electron and one orbital is the empty orbital. Same way another boron atom, it's also sp3 hybridized state, sp3 hybrid orbital, and this sp3 hybrid orbital with the vacant sp3 hybrid orbital of the boron atom, sp3 hybridized orbital and the sp3 hybridized orbital of the boron atom. Now here B2S6, there are 6 hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom, its electronic configuration is 1s1. So the s orbital of hydrogen, it gets overlaps with the sp3 hybridized orbital of boron in this way. Okay, and if you observe the structure, so now this is the hydrogen atom, 6 hydrogen atom. And if you observe this bond here, so there are 4 terminal hydrogen atom, and these two are the bridged hydrogen atom. So this bridged hydrogen atom is 3 center 2 electron pair. 3 center 2 electron bond. This is called as a 3 center 2 electron bond. Why it is called as a 3 center 2 electron bond? Because there are 3 orbitals but the electrons are 2. How? One electron which is present in the sp3 hybrid orbital and one electron from the s orbital of hydrogen atom. So this bond is, this is also called as 3 center 2 electron bond. 3 center 2 electron bond, 3 center 2 electron bond. These are the 2 bridged hydrogen atom and 4 terminal hydrogen atom. 4 terminal hydrogen atoms are 2 center 2 electron bond. Now this is called as the 2 center 2 electron bond. So this 2 center 2 electron bond, it is 2 electron bond, that is 4 terminal hydrogen atom, it is present in one plane, and 2 bridged hydrogen atom, it is present above the plane and below the plane. So this 3 center 2 electron bond, this is also called as banana bond. 3 center 2 electron bond is also called as banana bond, and it is represented like this, hydrogen. So this bond is called as a banana bond. Okay. Now these are the 4 terminal hydrogen atoms. This we can show in this way, and if we take this one, so it is a boron atom, 2 boron atom, and this is the sp3 hybridized orbital. It is with the paired electron, unpaired electron, and it gets bonded like this. It's a tetrahedral structure, it gets bonded in this way. So now look at here, this is the s orbital of hydrogen, sp3 hybrid orbital, and it forms the bond like this. So if you observe this, the 4 terminal hydrogen atom and 2 bridged hydrogen atom. 2 bridged hydrogen atom, it is one is above the plane and another one is below the plane. This is about the structure of diborane. So this structure of diborane, we can represent it as boron, 4 in one plane and one above the plane and another one below the plane. Hydrogen atom, hydrogen. Now this is the structure of diborane. So the bond angle of this hydrogen, boron, hydrogen, that is terminal hydrogen atom and the boron, it is 120 degree, and the bond length between the boron and hydrogen, it is 119 picometer. The same way, the bridged hydrogen atom and the boron atom, bridged hydrogen, boron and the bridged hydrogen atom, the bond angle is 97 degree and the bond length is 134 picometer. This is about the structure of diborane. Uses of boron, aluminium and its compound. So boron, it is hard, it is refractory solid, and its density is very low, and its conductivity, electrical conductivity is also very low. So because of this reason, it has many applications. That is boron fiber. Boron fiber, it is used in the preparation of bulletproof vests. It is used in the preparation of bulletproof vests, that is bulletproof jacket. And also it is used as a light composite material in the aircraft. Light composite material in the aircraft. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ metal borides are used in the atomic reactor. Metal borides are used in atomic reactors. Atomic reactors as a protective shield. It is used as a protective shield, and also it is used in control rods. It is used in control rods because boron 10 isotope, it absorbs the neutrons. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಈ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಬೋರಾನ್, that is borax, it is used in the glass industry. It is used in glass industry. That is, it is used to prepare the heat resistant glasses such as the Pyrex glass, wool glass and the borax glass. Yes, you are using the glasses in the laboratory, that is the conical flask, beaker. So most of these glasses are the borax glass, heat resistant glasses. And also the compound of boron, that is boric acid, it is used as a constituent of medicinal soaps. It is used as a constituent of medicinal soap. Why it is used as a constituent of medicinal soap? Because the orthoboric acid, it acts as an antiseptic. Now, the next is the uses of aluminium. Uses of aluminium. Aluminium, it is used as an alloy. It is used as an alloy with the copper, magnesium, manganese, zinc, silicon, etc. And also the aluminium, it is used as a packaging material. It is used as an packaging material. And also the alloy of aluminium, it is used to make a chocolate wrappers. The important alloy of aluminium, that is duralumin, it is used as an aircraft parts. And the alloy of aluminium are used as aluminium plates, aluminium sheets, aluminium foils, aluminium rods, etc. These are some of the uses of aluminium.